Yo, what's up with it, guy? This is Freedom Radio. Rich, you know what I'm saying? You already know me. And hey, guys, I got a really special guest today, man. This guy is very smart. I have learned a lot from him. He's doing a lot in the community. He's a real nice guy, man. But hey, enough of me talking. I'm gonna let him introduce yourself, man. So hey, can you introduce yourself to to this world, man, the internet world?
What's up, internet world? First of all, I am new to the internet world. To this day, I don't have no social media, anything, Facebook, anything. Before Facebook and Black Planet and all that, I was in college. Was thinking about a site to where you can express your opinions and say these things too. But my name is Erwin Sweeney, man. I'm somebody and nobody at the same time. We all are somebodies. First of all, people perceive us as nobodies, just dependent, but we all are somebodies. But that's who I am, man. I'm just here, man.
All right.
Welcome them to the world. Thanks to be here with my brother Rich. For real, man. Follow this guy, man. He real with it. He's seeking out of me, reaching out to me to get the reels. I'm telling him about this is freedom time. This is freedom from everybody, no matter the race. This is freedom. So we talking about freedom on this radio, man. This is what it is.
All right. So hey, let me ask you another question, man. So explain to the people what is Freedom Radio. Where you get the meaning from?
Well, the meaning, man, derived the actual words of Freedom Radio came from me and my uncle, man. Me and my uncle was sitting around and we was talking, and something that we always done. And I always done, speaking of our own realness and things that happen in life and what goes on. And the actual title and the word came from us sitting in the car and we was doing our thing and we was recording ourselves and videoing ourselves and saying that, man, we want to be able to speak, have the regular people speak out to the world, in the freedom sense, being able to talk amongst any topic, no matter what you think about it. So the word freedom is exactly what it means, and it's a radio station for it. So we want to have people to give the freedom of speech, just like they say in America is freedom. So that's where it came from. The freedom radio, it's the freedom of speech, and that's what all it is in a nutshell. But me and Unc, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna see him later. All right. Unc, this is the first episode, man. Unc ain't here. He out of town. He in Dallas. He come back with his baby girl. Y'all gonna need some more thing about Unc. I'm telling you, man. This is what it is. Okay. Yep.
All right. So, man, let me ask you another question, man. So tell me, what type of people was you around? Because I know you got a lot of knowledge, and I can't wait to the internet here. Yeah. So tell me what people that you was around, and tell me that who inspired you to to have for you to learn more knowledge.
Knowledge, man.
Like who started you?
Who started me? Who started me was first my birth family, my mother. First of all, growing up in a single parent home. When you talk about knowledge and lessons, I think that stems from just life lessons. I've been through a lot. So have a lot of our people. Understanding and what is and what's not is the purpose. So where I get knowledge from, I prescribe to my uncles, my aunties, my mother. Like I said, my father. My father, his presentation wasn't always right because he consumed alcohol a lot. He drank, what I'm saying, and his presentation right, but his words and what he was saying was very wise. And, speaking of knowledge, and I'm gonna let this be foremost because this is my first video in the world that's sending me. I had to let you know that I have a situation pertaining to knowledge and what knowledge is and what smart means versus what wisdom is. Okay. So I prescribe more to wisdom than knowledge, than the person being smart. Okay. So before I say not knowledge, versus being smart. All right. Knowledge is key. So don't get it twisted. Knowledge brings wisdom as well. But a person that says he's smart doesn't necessarily mean that person is acute or the person that should be in the place of leadership. Okay, all right. Person that wise, to me, our Father.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, you made me you broke that down pretty good. So it sounded like to me, man, you grew up around some pretty smart people, man.
Yeah, my mom from Mississippi, man. My dad
All
from Louisiana, man. I grew up from Southern people, man. We had good morals. I grew up in the church. I grew up in religious aspect. I grew up with understanding and respect, in my family. I seen goodness in my family. So a lot of black people suffer from not seeing those things.
Right.
But I also seen things that may not be so good, but not bad at all. Because both sides of my family, man, we religious people, we good people, man.
Right.
We got people in black, and that's another thing, man. Just because everybody got a drug addict, or a drinker, or a smoker, or a criminal. That comes with the systematic system that was set out before us too, as well.
Right.
That's not all derivative of who we are as a people. So,
right.
So a lot of those things and a lot of those factors stimulate from things that preceded before the people that you see today that's in front of you, and we're doing our best, and we're doing great. Even since back in the day, we've been doing it, it's just been hidden.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, man, I got another question, man, for the people that watching, man. So, hey, I see this Husker flag right beside you, man.
Already.
Man, so tell me what this Husker flag means to you, man, and sure, where they located at, man.
Oh, Huskers, that's right, man. Nebraska, man. It's Nebraska, man. Right now, there's a black man, Terrence Bud Crawford, who now has really put Nebraska on the map in this day and age. But before then, it was all about the Husker football team.
Right.
Those people who played on the football team was the honor and the pride of Nebraska at the time.
Okay. All right.
A gentleman now, like I say, mentioned Terrence Bud Crawford. One of the number one guys, not just only in Nebraska, but in the world.
Yeah, he is. He is that.
And so, in that said being, this place right here, it helped me. I'm originally from Texas.
Right.
I was born and raised in Dallas, born in Parkland Hospital, and I ended up here.
Okay, so let me ask you another question. I know that you said you were born in Texas, right?
Yeah.
So what area you came up in Texas, man, and how was it back then when you came up?
I was born in 1978, man.
Okay.
October. I'm a Libra.
All right.
Balance, scale. That's
all right.
People going to signs and going to things you may not believe or may believe, but that's a central energy that happens amongst celestial things that happens in energies and the stars and the atmosphere and align with who you are and when you was born. So that's why I say that. But I was born in Dallas, Texas, man. My mother, like I say, from Mississippi. Grew up poor, not saying I was poor in heart and mind and body and soul.
Right.
I was very rich in that, but
that's good you say that, man.
Yeah. But monetary, especially growing up in the 80s, you know what I'm saying, the early 80s. I was born in 78, the early 90s. There wasn't a lot of rich black people like you see today.
Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey wasn't even known to be the richest woman in our time as she is now. Oprah Winfrey was just becoming of. Of course, there wasn't no. There was athletes and there was entertainers and there was people. There was no talk of billionaire black people then. Even though we got people that come before even that time that was richer than that.
Right.
And I'm talking about ancient times when you talk about the king Mansu Mansu. You know what I'm saying? If y'all know the story of Mansu Mansu, let me speak up and speak their name. This man is richer than anybody ever in the world, period.
Right.
And that's to the day. So that means in ancient times, he was the richest man then, and even if he was compared today, he would still be the richest man in the world. And there was a black man. So
wait a minute, you said he was a black guy?
Yeah, it was a black man.
Wow, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
African king.
Yeah.
Built temples everywhere he went. Studies and libraries and scholars and education.
Right.
Helped endure the revolution of science amongst black people, which it came from the Kemet people of Kemet. He helped also endure that by building these mosques and temples and place of studies, the first colleges per se.
Right.
Yeah. This man built that. This man went around the world and traveled and gave away.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's written in history. Even white people talk about it. So I challenge all people to challenge themselves on history and everything that comes before, not just in the religious text, but in the historical human text.
Okay.
And what in timeline fashion too.
I got you.
See.
So let me ask you this, man. So do you call yourself a and I'm trying to make sure I answer this question. I mean, I'll say this question really good.
Right.
Do you consider yourself as a philosopher, or do you consider yourself as just a person that just learned a lot through life, life lessons?
Now, this is another thing when you talk about philosophy and theory and everything, right? So just like you just said, and I always say this, because we are follower of people, right? And we're a follower of people who have disposed upon us their same theories and philosophies predicated off of what you just said.
All right.
So there's no man that exists that has the acute answer to, especially the existence of mankind. Now, through science and everything else and through other things, you can study and you can bestow upon certain truths, because if you study science and if you study certain deals, you can come to a truth at some point in certain instances.
Okay.
But no man, even from the first study of religion. So if people do the study of religion, who's the first religious people to be in study?
Right.
Look it up right now. You can Google it right now. You will see that Christianity falls down the line. Yeah. But you will see that there was a generational thousands of years of religious studies that happened. First starting with not really starting with the first but when you talk about religion, then you got to get into a circular standpoint when people start believing in singular gods, taken away from multiple gods and goddesses, and then even believing in one God and things of that nature. That becomes that.
Okay, all right.
I don't want to get off track, but what you say again first? What you just say again? Say the question again, though.
All right, no, I was asking. No, you answered the question. I was asking. So, do you consider yourself as a philosopher, or do you consider yourself as a person that just, life just taught you,
And what I say on that, man. I want all of us to start to indulge in and to see things that what life teaches you versus following man. Because you would come to understand that what's in you is already has been bestowed upon you.
Right.
If it hadn't, it's true to the fact that it's a thin line, because it's true to the fact as a baby, you grow into this world and you learn, right? Right. So you do learn who you are. Right. And that's one thing I want people to understand too, because say for instance, if I was born Asian, and I challenge people, this is the first time I'm hearing this word. I don't think people even be saying this. I listen to a lot of people.
Yep, I've been saying, and I'm telling you what you're saying.
What you're hearing right now, man, I'm telling you, man, and I'm stoned up on this. If I was born Asian, if I was born Filipino, if I was born Caucasian, if I was born any other race, without, would you think that I would feel like I'm not a child of God or whoever or the creator of the universe? Would you think that if I was born Vietnamese in the time of the Vietnamese War, that I wouldn't be fighting? I just watch. They got no Netflix right now, and it's funny that they putting out about what happened.
Yeah, they show putting it out there now.
There's a documentary that shows both sides of those wars. And then you'll see that the other side was feeling the same way, like, why I'm here. And they feeling like I'm a child of the creator, of the God, or whoever you want to call it, Yahshua, whoever you want to call it, Jehovah,
Buddha, whoever.
All the names that's been pronounced to God. One thing that we're forgetting, that the fact that we are human, and that we are living in the life of unity and sanctity and energy. You know what I'm saying? And not in the life of form of man and pointing fingers and so much of a guidance of a sense to where you think that this guidance is the reason why you will be pronounced to hell or to heaven.
All right. So let me throw you a curveball, man. I see where you're going. So, all right. So, what do you and once again, this is gonna be a curveball question because I'm trying to set you up here for a good question, right? So what do you believe? So, what is death to you? How do you feel about death?
Death to me, man, is first of all, death is a formality of something that they have fomented in our head to believe that is something that we should be afraid of.
Yeah.
Death doesn't happen without life.
Right.
There's a cycle. So we need to stop feeling that death is something bad. We need to respect that death brings life.
Right.
You can feel it, and I challenge people all the time, man. I'm a big person of actual factuals when it comes to feeling things, right?
Right.
There's a lot of times that things happen, and people call it superficial,
right,
or whatever they may call it. But there's been every instance in my lifespan throughout my family to where when there was a death happen, a birth occurred.
Right.
And that naturally happens through the order of life, period.
Right.
And it can be superficial, it can be subsequential, it can be circumstantial, it can be coincidental, it can be whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But if you understand life, without one, there's not the other.
Okay.
So that's what it is.
All right.
You want to go more in depth, or we can do that on a later date.
Okay.
You know what I'm going to do?
I'm
giving y'all a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm telling y'all need to know about me. I don't want to give y'all too much of me.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a lot of factors y'all going to be trying to pick my head on. Y'all be like, oh, he said this in the first video. And yeah, you're damn right. I'm going to stick to it too because I naturally understand what I feel. I'm not a literal person. I'm not going to bring you back facts and literal this and literal that and say that I've seen facts and a lot of things.
Right.
I'm big on this too, and you're gonna learn this about me when I talk to people about the literal sense.
Yeah.
And how we're trapped in the literal mindset.
All right.
And how we shouldn't be in the literal mindset. Reading may not be so good for you all the time.
Okay. Yeah, you're right about that. And man, you know something? My grandmother used to tell me a lot, man, when I was younger. I never forget. I went to go see my uncle. I think he passed away when I was probably about like 9 years old, and my dad got so upset because my grandmother wanted me to go to the funeral. And my dad, they got into a big argument. My grandmama said, well, baby, look, he gonna have to learn about this death right here because you guys looking at death as sad, but it's really not sad. She said, what we really supposed to be doing is crying when the baby come into earth, or, when a man or woman get married, or, when they get older. But death is something good. So that's the reason why I said, man, you answered that question like that was the best answer I ever heard, man. But so okay, look, all right. So I noticed earlier.
We got some more things to come back to on what you said.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, all right, bet we'll put a bookmark on it, man. Because I'm here to learn. The internet here to learn, man. And man, you just spilled out some tea then, man.
Yeah, man. I get that, man. I'm telling you something, man. For real, man. As a little kid, man, I've been that type of person. I'm with someone that's like that now. But she's very knowledgeable and very understanding. She's been studying Egyptian stuff since I met her. I met her when she was 15 and I was 16 years old. Right. And she's been studying the history of these contexts and things since then. But what I'm saying is that I don't consider myself as a knowledgeable person in that sense. I don't want to be out here and portray to the world that I have all this knowledge. What I want people to is to reflect on the understanding. Right. People. I know there's gonna be people that try to challenge me on this and that and that and this and that. I'm not here to.
Not here to debate.
I'm not here to. I'm here to debate. No doubt.
I got
you. But I want you to know that I have a vast understanding.
Right.
And having a vast understanding sometimes I feel, and majority of the times I feel, I weigh a person that feels like, oh, he's so smart about this and so smart about that.
Right.
You did.
Yeah.
So I'm not here to address the world and here to be out to the people to confront you and to be in front of you as this person of all this knowledge, because that's what they got y'all on. I'm here to tell you that some of the things that you know, that you think you know, ain't probably what you know. And you done read all these books about it, you done read all these texts, and you done read all these things about what you done read, and you feel like you're smart upon it.
Right.
But it ain't even what that is.
Right.
It may have some divine instances and some things about it because it's a derivative.
Right.
The things you read are derivatives. Anything that's forthcoming is a derivative. You cannot exist in life without deriving from something. You're not, man, come on.
Hey, you're right, man.
You hear what
You 100% right.
For real, man. Come on. Y'all act like y'all want to tell this book and this story about the beginning. Oh, we came from there, we came there, and that's the very beginning.
Right.
And then you're neglecting all the things that's naturally and that comes before that. Like it's not a derived.
Right.
Like you didn't, like Christianity is the first thing, and like these religions that you're on now, like this book wasn't given to us once we got off that boat and this slave thing. Like this was the same things we was preaching when we was African over in tribal nations and having all this understanding and already about life and how life should be. Not through the 12 commandments or these story tales that you put in place in the biblical sense, which has been going on for thousands of years.
Right.
Which came through war.
Right.
So when you indulge in the history about this generalization of religion, you'll see that war came before.
Yep.
And war became inconducive for it to stay.
Right.
So every place that was taken over, their religion went with it.
Right.
So when Christianity spread it through the Islam, after Judaism, Christianity came after Judaism. So why you think they hate on the Jews so much? Come on.
Yeah, you're right, man.
Come on, man.
You're
so
right.
I want people to start understanding, and we are awakening. We all are starting to be awoke. One reason why we are able to, because there's a lot of more access to information through the what we all deem as the termination of all people, which is technology and what it is. So we got a lot more access.
Yep, it's easier for people to go out into technology now, look up stuff
and find information and research. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's fine. And I find that's all I'm doing nowadays.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm doing.
So let me ask you this question right here, man. So I was on the internet yesterday, right, strolling, right, and I ran across a video of a American black guy and an African guy. Yeah. And the American guy asked the African guy, he was like, man, why don't y'all guys, why Africans hate us so much? Yeah. And the African guy answered and said, because you guys are basically pleased with being in slavery. So how do you feel about that? Like can you make me understand it or make the internet world understand, what I just said, or?
I'm glad you said that, because there's been something that's been going on in the black community and Africans. A lot of us, and people don't know that, and people in the world don't even really know this, that there's really this big deal that Africans don't like American blacks. Yeah. And that notion of it is like why this and that in the slavery standpoint of it is. What I say to that is that's just like all this has been a very much strategic dividance of who we are and what they are. Right. Say for instance, a group of people from the outside looking in, they're on the whole continent over there, right? Right. And we're here. That lets you know that the history has been stripped from even the motherland. Okay. From the people in the generation of people that understands that, because what they're saying is that it's all about the battle. Why there's countless of rebellious encounters that happened throughout the slavery people jumped off that boat. People was rebelling in different
people
ways.
wanted to die before they became a slave.
Exactly. And then also the captiveness of how there was war already in Africa, and there were slaves. There was already slaves of other tribes that was given off, to slaves owners. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Also, there was bribes. There was other things.
All right, so let me pause you right there. So you said that, and I just want to make sure that people get a good understanding of what you said. So you just said that in Africa they owned slave. I mean, people was enslaved too, right?
Yeah. So
okay.
Slavery,
okay.
That's not a new. The only thing that's new to slavery, in which it was brung amongst black people, is the overall capitalistic gain when it came to moving it amongst the masses around the world.
All right.
So first of all, everybody had slaves. Black people, Africans had slaves, even within their continent. Europeans had slaves. Everybody
Chinese,
had slaves. Everybody had slaves. You know what I'm saying? So the notion of slavery is not a new a concept that's just bestowed upon us. White people even had other white slaves, but they was differently.
They were different.
Now, in the way it was bestowed to us was that the trade in which it was pronounced upon and how it was used to create the mass. So you got the sugar cane that deals all the way from tobacco, that deals all the way from the cotton, that deals, you know what I'm saying? Those things was providing a world domination build. Not just a area in Africa or you helping the community. And then even then, man, when you think about slaves that was brought upon different communities and things, they also ended up in those tribes and became part of those tribes, things. It became a situation. And so that's a whole different diaspora.
Okay.
But the way it was used amongst the coastal Atlantic slave trade and how those things was brought about and how it was used in the fortitude of understanding that these particular black people of this nation could endure the pain. They felt like we could endure it. They seen our mass. They seen how we were built. They seen how we were genetically made. Our makeup was
right.
And
so basically, what you're saying was they saw that we were better slaves.
Exactly, we were better slaves, and that translated amongst around. You know what I'm saying? That started to be because think about it. The things that they was trading for was the bulk of the commodity that was used amongst the world. So if you had cotton, if you had sugar cane at the time, you know what I'm saying? Tobacco, when tobacco became, those are the biggest things, bigger than oil. Think about it. They didn't have cars and things of that nature. They didn't have what they needed was sugar cane, cotton, and tobacco.
Man, you just blew my mind on that one, man. God dang. Yeah, you right, man. Dang, yeah.
It's the biggest commodity in the world.
Right.
And they used us to mass produce it.
Right.
It was being produced mass produced. It wasn't being produced in certain regions, but it was, exactly.
So let me ask you this question right here, man. So
I'm not the king of the knowledge on that. I'm just here with the understanding and letting y'all know we need to understand this shit. Take tidbits, cross-reference it, and understand this shit, man.
Right. Okay, so look, let me ask you this right here, man. So
I'm back of miles.
All right, okay, you cool, man. So look,
I need to stop there. I've been doing that before they even started.
Yeah, okay.
Real, when first Black Miles I'm born in '78. Black Miles wasn't even around to the masses. I remember when Black Miles came out, I was smoking. When other people started smoking cigarettes, I was smoking as a young.
See, I didn't know that.
I ain't proud of that, but I did that.
Okay. See, man, hey, knowledge. That's knowledge. But look, so check this out, man.
I need to stop though.
All right. So basically. So every race, from my knowledge too, every race owns slaves. Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. So I was raised up in Mississippi down south.
Facts.
So I was taught that Mississippi in the South is the poorest state ever in the world. Mm-hmm. But do you feel like that's true? Because I don't feel like that's true because because they had the most slave trade. You know what I'm saying? Through that time, everything had to go through. I think it was and I could be wrong, but I think it was the Pacific Ocean or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And all that. Natchez Straits with my people from the Natchez Straits down the Mississippi River, all that. You know what I'm saying? But come through the trade. And, that's where most of the slaves were presented.
Yeah, they came from. So do you feel like this?
Well, there was in Virginia, there was in, in the Carolinas,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Things of that nature on those coasts. Those coastal lines is where you got the people coming to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you see the most bulk of slaves.
Right.
And they was traded to.
Right. So do you feel like they lying about the fact that they saying that the South is the more poor state, but the South, like I said, reproduce a whole lot of money?
Yeah, man. It's there's rich. And I want to do this segment on the heritage.
Okay.
On ancestral inheritance.
All right.
And that's the name of it.
But if you want me to, I can put a bookmarker there.
Yeah, put a bookmarker
Okay.
there.
Okay. And I can ask you another question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So look, check this out. All right. Look, internet world, we're gonna come back to that question, man. But hey, look, check this out, sweet. So all right. Yesterday, man, I was watching a video on TikTok. And you familiar with TikTok, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so these group of and I mean, hey, I hate to say it like this, but I'm being honest about it. But the group of African Americans, the videos I saw that on their graduation, that they was partying, dancing, at the graduation and stuff like that, and a lot of other people was saying that those kids was ghetto, and some of the black people was saying it as well. How do you feel about the way that black people in America carry themselves now? How do you feel about that?
So you say there was I
So-
didn't see this story, but you say they was dancing.
Yeah, they were dancing at the graduation.
Was it like provocative dancing? Why was dancing?
No, it wasn't provocative. They were just dancing, and a lot of people they were celebrating, and a lot of people. And guess what? To believe it or not, it wasn't no twerking or none of that going on. They were just dancing and buck jumping around and stuff. And a lot of people were saying that was ghetto.
Well, people refer. I'm gonna tell you about this ghetto thing.
All right.
People refer a lot of things to ghetto, meaning to black people, right? Because ghettos in America today pertain to blacks.
Mm-hmm.
You don't say ghettos when you pertain to Asians, whites, or any other, right? Even Mexicans, even though they live in poor neighborhoods,
right?
But you don't say ghettos. You say ghettos in pertaining to black.
Right.
So let's get that out understood.
All right.
Now, I said this one thing before I moved to Cedar Hill. I'm from Dallas, grew up in East Dallas, Pleasant Grove. That's where I grew up, in the borderline of that.
Right.
Grove, Ferguson. That's where I grew up. I ended up making a little money, so I moved to Cedar Hill.
Right.
I must realize that some. I come home and a bunch of bubbles in the middle of our centerpiece in the whole neighborhood. They done bubbled it out. And I made a mistake, and I said, "Man, that's ghetto,"
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to really say that, because we say that pertaining to black people when we have been the advancement of everything that y'all do today. So speaking of twerking, you said there wasn't twerking, right? I remember there was a day and an age when there was no white people twerking, and you called that ghetto. But now you see everybody, and I don't want to name no names. I can name
everybody
names
doing
and
it.
go viral. Who?
I said everybody doing it.
Everybody
Every
doing
race.
it. The biggest names.
Chinese, whites, everybody doing
And
it.
I'm talking about the biggest names of the white people.
And we started.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? This is Freedom Radio. I can say what I want, right?
Mm-hmm. You say what you want.
So the whitest of the white girls right now is Taylor Swift. So Taylor Swift's twerking when I remember when this is all y'all did.
You're right.
Now, and when black women with the big old booties and everything was
Right.
out there twerking and dancing like that,
Yeah.
y'all called it what? Ghetto.
It's a problem when
You called it what?
Ghetto. You're right.
But now it's not ghetto, right? It's twerking. It's a fucking name for it.
Hey, look, man, they even got like dance classes now, man.
Come on, man, for
twerking.
twerking.
Twerking. And you know what? The dance classes are basically ran by white people.
Come on, teaching you how
Being
to do
honest.
the ghetto shit.
Yeah.
See, we gonna get real. You know what I'm saying? This is nothing like This is like everything else, and everything else is coming, but it's nothing like everything else that was coming. It's Freedom Radio, and I'm willing to, man. I've been wanting to challenge the world. Something happened to me today, and I'm glad we're doing this video today, and we saying this because something happened to me today that really prepared me to be further on. You know, this political aspect that we'll find out later on, and I'm gonna bring it out to y'all later on.
Right.
But know that this day, on the day that my brother came in here and he interviewed us and he told us that we wanted to get on this. This is something me and my uncle been wanting to get on. Freedom Radio, y'all hear me? We live and direct with it in my basement. We're in the basement of my house right now.
Yep.
Where my family reside at.
Okay.
So this is where we at.
Yep, man. This is real as it's gonna get right here.
Exactly.
Man. So man, when you think Unc coming back home, man? I can't wait to meet Unc.
He's back at the house. He back in Dallas. He from Mississippi. He's back in Texas. You know what I'm saying? He just had a baby.
All right.
Guess how old he is?
Yeah, how old he is?
I ain't gonna even tell y'all. I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna put y'all. I'm gonna try to guess.
All right.
Okay. I want y'all to guess. Okay. So I'm gonna tell y'all he over 50.
Over 50 years old.
Over 50 years old. So I want y'all to guess between 50 and 70 years old.
All right.
Okay.
All right. And hey, guys, make sure y'all drop that in the comments, man. Whoever get it right, man, I got a special surprise for you.
Already, man.
All right.
Man.
So, hey, man, look, I know Unc ain't here, right? Mm-hmm. And, like I said, I man, you are full of knowledge. And I do not want to give it all out on the first video.
I don't want to call it knowledge. I got to cut you off.
You got to cut. All right. Correct me, man.
Because knowledge means that anybody can read something, right? Mm-hmm. And recite it back to you.
Right.
And that person would say, yeah, he's smart. He's knowledgeable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think we need to look past things being knowledgeable. We need to focus on understanding. Because I can also learn something and it may not be something I should have learned. So take for instance, I pertain this to wisdom. I want to let y'all know about this.
Right.
It's just my key factor between knowledge and being smart and wisdom.
Okay.
Right? So say for instance, we're trying to get to point A to point B, right?
Right.
And there's a valley, to get to this point, there's a valley in between.
Right.
You have a choice. You really can't go across the valley because it's steep and you really can't get across it, right?
Right.
The only way to really get across it is to take a treacherous route and go around, right?
Right.
That's the only way to really get across it without damage.
Right.
Or else you perhaps may die.
Right.
Now, to some, it may be smart to build a bridge to cross over that valley. Right?
Right.
Hey, if I can build a bridge here,
yep. Seems like a smart thing to do, yeah.
In the mix of building bridges, there's not have been a situation that man has built that has not killed a person or murdered a person or killed a person in the midst of building
that bridge.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
But you don't want to take the scenic route or the route around where you may learn some things if you go around. And you may live. And you don't cost other people lives because you want it to be easy. So now you can cross this bridge and you don't have to take that route. You know? We as people, why you think everything in today's time is instant? Because we want the instant gratification. Why you think they promote that? Everything is about instant. Everything. You know? Stemming from being from Mississippi, you know, everything's at a slower pace even to this day.
Right.
You know, we're still at that. I said this just not too long ago. I was saying, if you want to see what America is and how it should be, you need to go to the indigenous places, and you need to go to Mississippi in America. You need to go to places in the South because that's where we originally came from, and that's where it still
everything
looks
is slowed
the
down.
part. It
You're
still
right.
looks the part. It's country. It's this, that. You got to know. It's not cityfied. It's not fabricated. I have this notion about what makes us turn against it. It's because when you leave from that situation and you go to the city and you learn all these new things. Remember I tell you about this thing about knowledge, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
You learn all these new things when you learn from Mississippi, right?
Right.
Then the first thing, when you come back to Mississippi, you see like, dang, they still doing the things, but I done learned all this new stuff. I want to bring all this new stuff to y'all that I done learned.
Yeah.
But not respecting the fact that they're living good.
Man, and you know something, man? I want to tell you this right here. I never forget, man. I was probably about the age of maybe 17 to 16 years old. And me and my dad was riding around together. And I saw some people out there out there in the field. They was I think they was picking cotton.
Yeah.
And I asked my dad, I was like, man, ain't people don't supposed to pick cotton no more, right? And my dad was like, son, they got machines and stuff to pick cotton. But he did say, he said, son, it's better to pick it with your hand. And he said, you want to know how much money them people making right now? I said, how much? He said, man, they probably making $25 to $30 an hour for picking cotton now. And my dad was like, man, sometimes it's better to do it the natural way than the man-made way.
It's always better.
So, man, everything
from a naturalistic standpoint is better.
Right.
From medicines, from everything, man. I ain't perfect in everything.
But look, I don't want you to speak on the medicine right now. We're gonna put that in the bookmark because I already know you got a lot to say.
Keep bookmarking.
Yeah, we bookmarking right there, man. We ain't giving that knowledge out just yet, man. Hey, look, that right there might be in the next video, man. I already know you got a lot to say. But man, look, man, I know you. You know what I'm saying? And I know for a fact, for me, I was born in 1990. Yeah. And you older than me, man. And man, you done taught me a lot of stuff. You done helped open, as people say, my third eye. You know what I'm saying? And I have learned so much from you, man. And so in closing, let me ask you this. Yeah. What advice you have to the YNs, you know what I'm saying? The people saying the younger generation now, the gun-toting generation now, the generation that just don't care now. What advice you got for them generation?
Now, you said a lot. Because at the end, you said the generation that just don't care.
Right.
What I don't want to dispel on the younger generation is that they just don't care.
Okay.
What I've been learning is that they do care. They don't have the proper tools to understand how hard to care.
Okay. All right.
We've been brought up with a understanding on how hard it is to care about certain issues.
Right.
For the younger generation, I'm seeing that they care.
Right.
No doubt.
It's just the older people, I think that, like what I just said, that making them seem like they don't care.
Well, I think they do exhibit that they don't care because I'm not excluding them either.
Right. Okay.
Remember, I'm a Libra, man. I'm very balanced. So I'm very understanding of a lot of sides.
Right.
So when I answer a question, I'll talk about things, I'm going to see the understanding of both sides. So you asked me about young people, right?
Right.
And young people, I'm a coach. I coach, I train kids. You understand the coaching. You be around the coaching. You've been around me and coaching. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where we grown to know each other very well.
Right.
And so we've grown to see how young people, and of course we're in a different region. We're in the Nebraska region. We're both from the South. It's a different region. Let's let that be known.
Right.
And so we see certain things. And so what I'm saying is that, but there's a universal factor that's happening amongst young people, period.
Right. And
it's the understanding of how important things really are. You know what I'm saying? They've been, if you think about it, life is different. And it's going to continue to be different than when me and you grew up and then when our parents grew up. We had topics of slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Things are different than that, but it's still different than what these kids see now. For
Right.
instance, I grew up in 78, right?
Right.
When I grew up, I made the incident about Oprah Winfrey. I don't know if people really take that into consideration. '78, Oprah Winfrey wasn't the richest woman in
And
the
that's
world.
and that's crazy because I always thought that she was the richest woman in the world. I always thought that.
Yeah, and she's not now as rich, and there was a black woman, a woman before her that was richer than her, who had hair care products for black people. You know, people need to look her up. I pronounce her name like I say. When I come on here, and I want you the world to know this. I know a lot and I see a lot. I'm not always able to give you a direct name back to her. I get so much information in, and I don't want to make that an excuse, but I'm giving you a real understanding of what I'm talking about.
Right.
You can do this research on.
Do the research on yourself. Yeah.
Do your research yourself. Now, there was a black woman before Oprah Winfrey. Now, I'm talking about Oprah Winfrey in the '78, and there was no pronounced black woman to be put on and be to put out that was rich, right, as a black woman. Now, 80s, 90s, you know, growing up now, you see people in houses and basements, black people. When you go to a person's house in the 80s, early 80s, you didn't
see that.
No, you didn't see that. They didn't have the nice carpet, the nice, now your house looking like how the European factor is or how the people came before you.
So we done came a long way.
We done came a long way. You did? So, and before we end this, that's another topic. And bookmark that.
All right.
Because there's a lot of us that has came a long way since then, even to the lifespan I've been in.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And the amount of money that we have as into the people that have. Now, Oprah Winfrey is just one person. You got Tyler Perry. You got all these Tyler Perry, right? Make sure I said it correct.
Okay.
You got all these rappers. We got all these entertainers. All these actors.
Right.
We got all these sports figures. Football. Me myself.
Right.
All these guys that have made a lot of money since the '78 time. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about a little dollar. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about Oprah Winfrey money, but I'm talking millions. Everybody I named that made millions of dollars.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
You got your Jay-Z's, the people that you look up. You got all these people. And it's a bunch of people that's underneath them that we're talking about they got millions. You got doctors. You got lawyers. We got, you know how many black doctors and lawyers it got to exist in each state, in each place? That make over 7 figures?
A lot.
More than in 78.
Wow.
More than in 68, more than in 58, more than in 40, and so on and so on.
And that's crazy, man, because I remember my grandmother, she was the first black African-American nurse in Batesville, Mississippi.
Yeah, I mean, you tell me that, man. Look how powerful that is.
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
Yeah, man, she was the first black woman back in, I really can't remember when it was, but I remember my mama and my daddy. And, you know what I'm saying, my other relatives was telling me about it, man. She was the first black African-American woman in Batesville, Mississippi to become a registered nurse. And if I had to guess a time, it was probably back in 1972. And that may not seem long, but...
Yeah, that was long. Before I'm talking
you know
about, right? I'm
yeah.
78.
Yeah, you know, so
to be a black woman, to be in that, come on, man.
Yeah,
and for your wife now, for the ladies, for you to have, and for pretense,
right?
So let this be known. This is real life, and this is real,
right?
So I said that, but pretense, but we on the day of. But for yours to be in that field, to be the head. So, for y'all don't know, I'm viewing that for him. I'm going to spill a little bit. He can cut it out, do whatever.
Yeah.
But he just gave you a bit of information about his ancestral past, right?
Right.
And this is why I say we should give way to our ancestors and pronounce our ancestors. Now, his, who you just say? Your grandmother?
Yeah, my grandmother.
His grandmother. Now, he's finna marry a lady who's the head of nurses amongst our whites. She's the head of nurses, and we're amongst. Come on. So,
man, put a bookmark.
I was gonna say that too when he said it. I said we're gonna have to put a bookmark on his, and we're gonna come back to that.
Yeah.
There's a whole energy thing, man. We got bookmarks on everything, man. I keep relating to my wife and everything, and I'm gonna keep relating to her, man, because I want to say this before closing, man. The woman that I'm with and everything.
Yeah.
And my wife and my woman, and pronouncing of that. There's a bookmark on wife and what that means.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of up and downs. This man is about to become married. There's a lot of socialistic aspects. There's a lot of things that I think that are not that we haven't been taught the proper way to approach.
Yeah, I got you.
Male and female inhabitants.
Right.
So y'all heard me? I didn't say nothing about anything. I said we haven't been schooled on and really taught the proper way to connect with the male and female inhabitants.
Man, say it louder for the people in the back.
Exactly,
man.
So that means that, and me and my wife, we're going through things, and she's challenging me and letting me know her perspective and things of female, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I think there needs to be an understanding. And through understanding doesn't mean that that I'm trying to make this person be equal to me.
Right.
And I want to say this, that we need to understand that equalness needs to be of acceptance and not of a pressure to make you me.
Man.
Because we all different.
You're right.
You not me, me not you. You know what I'm saying? So we need to respect each other's differences.
Right.
And not try to be so much on the equalness of.
Right, man.
That's another bookmark.
That's another bookmark, man. But hey, look, man. So anything else you want to say? Man. Within the closing, man, or 'cause I know we're about to get ready to wrap this up, and man, the next time when we do this, we will have Unc on here,
Facts.
man.
Facts.
We will have the Unc on here, man.
Facts.
Like your uncle, man. Like that's a guy. That's a guy, man. I know you speak highly of, man. That's somebody that taught you a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah, man. Man, I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. I was taking Unc everywhere with me, man. He's been in a lot. Y'all gonna see. He's done a lot. He's been through a lot. Like I say, right now we ain't telling y'all the age. He just had a baby. What is 2025?
Yeah, 2025.
2025. He had a baby. His baby was 1 year old, so 2024.
Right.
I want y'all to guess between the age of 50 and 70. Y'all gonna learn a lot about this man. Y'all gonna even learn how he had his baby and all this, man, throughout all this journey, man. Y'all gonna see, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna have y'all comments on it and all this.
Right.
But then at the end of the day, we're gonna see how the people, the compassion and what's real. See, one thing is what we're missing and what's not happening, and what they know that we have as black people, we have compassion. Why you think we are the only people that exist today that haven't went to war against our situation? We haven't yet went to war. Y'all know that? Every race has went to war.
Except.
We've been to war now. Don't forget, Shaka Zulu, the Zulu brothers. If you know anything about the Zulu tribe, anything of that nation, we went to war even back in the days before slavery.
Time out. Bookmark. That's going right there. Gonna be for another topic right there, man. Man.
I don't know. You think I don't know?
Leave, man. Hey, man, you just spilling knowledge, man. Man, you spilling knowledge, man.
Man, we got Zulu Nation. I remember watching Zulu back when I was a kid, man.
Yeah.
On TV.
A lot of people don't know about that, man. I know my generation don't know nothing about that.
See, they think that we didn't fight. They be having this
thing like we just
about,
lay down and say, hey, come get us. Yeah.
No. Y'all need to understand all the countless rebellious acts. See, these was acts that happened,
Yeah.
Like I say, when people was jumping off the slave ship, the people actually jumped off the slave ship.
Yeah.
People actually went to war, not just submissively. So people actually went to war when getting off, in those beaches and in those lands when they go.
They thought that death was better.
Yeah. But people actually fought back. See, y'all don't understand that. Y'all think that people didn't actually fight back. You think that people didn't actually fight back? Yes, they did. What the thing was that the movement in which the movement in what they did was already happening, and the masses that was with the movement.
Right.
We are amongst the only species in the world that is like that.
Right.
So who else you gonna get to? You ain't gonna point over here and be like, oh no, the Asians is the bigger people. No,
man.
let's go enslave them.
Yeah.
No, no, because you're looking at the Asiatic people at the time, the Asiatic, they're not formatted, which are all generated from us. So you're all formatted from us. You're doing teachings about it. White people, you say it all the time.
Right.
But you don't even pronounce it. You say it, you know the region in which we came from, and you know the skin color and the melanin in which it was.
All right.
And you know where we derived from. And you know where we've been traveling for over. So now, this is another thing about history. I'm going to leave y'all with this.
All right.
Y'all want to talk about 4,000. We talking about BCE, 4,000, 1,500 BCE.
Mm-hmm.
Christianity coming in there, 30 BCE. Then they started getting the notion of Christianity. Probably what me and my wife just was doing a little study. It was 125 CE. Well, I mean, AD, you know what I'm saying, after that. So, you know what I'm saying, in the other era, then you got to understand the different areas and why they named that. So, hold on. Getting off topic. Back in...
you good.
Man.
You good. No, you good.
So,
you good.
So, child.
No, you good. You good, man. You good.
Man, bookmark.
The bookmark.
We're going to bring it back. I'm going to watch this over.
Yep.
I'm going to get back to what I was saying about
Oh,
this,
yeah.
man. My brother got to go, man. Thank you, brother, man, for...
And man, once again, man, hey, look, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. Man, it seemed like, man, when you did this video, man, the God and you just took over.
I know it was.
You know what I'm saying, man?
This is the first video, man, that we're doing. This is not the first...
This is the first me and you video.
Yeah, it's the first
right,
video,
because you've been, because man.
I got videos of my own. I got voice. I got voice messages that I'm gonna be able to bring back to y'all. One thing
I will promise, we will get it out there because, man, to be honest with you, man, you changed my life on a lot of stuff, man. So I know that it gotta be some people out here that they gotta hear this knowledge, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell y'all something though. I mean, because this praise, right, y'all?
Yeah.
Please keep all this praise. You see how you may give me praise, and then I get on the internet, then people say, look at this and that. I'm not a perfect man, by far.
Right.
You dig? I got issues, I got problems, you know what I'm saying? I've been in jail, I've been in prison for marijuana. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the issue today. And I'm letting it all be known. Because I don't want all this backlash and all this bullshit to be like, oh, he portraying this. I'm not portraying shit. I'm telling you right fucking now, I'm not portraying a motherfucking thing. And I don't want nobody to portray shit.
Yeah.
I didn't watch y'all and seen y'all on this internet shit. I ain't got no internet nothing. I ain't never had no shit. Like I say, I thought about this shit before it became, and I was like, hey, I already knew what it was gonna be.
Right.
And I don't have it to this day because of what it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I'm telling you, this is one of the first thing, and I'm giving my willingness to get this put on the forefront.
Right.
I've been wanting to do this, and I've been wanting it to happen. And I think it happened between what's happening right now. And I bless it, and I promise you, man, I want us, man, to go ahead and move forward, man, because what happened to me today, I'm telling y'all, bookmark.
Yep.
We'll
speak more into it, man, more into it. Yep. And hey, guys, look, man, once again, man, this is Freedom Radio. And man, when I mean to tell you, man, this a God that's sitting on this couch right now, man, and man, you know, y'all guys, please stay tuned until the next video, and we will be dropping soon, man. Is there anything else you want to leave the people with, man, before we end it?
Man, peace be on the people, man, for real. All power, black power too, and all power, man. Power be unto all people, man. And quit this foolishness, man. Power be to all people, man. Quit the foolishness. It shouldn't be wars or any of that, man. What's war without peace, man? We need peace. Peace amongst all people. Point blank, period. And that's me.
All
Freedom
right.
Radio, we out, man.
All right, guys. Hey, man, we out, man. Peace, man. I'll see you guys next time.